Hello everybody! Today let's build an abandoned minecart diorama. The best thing about riding in an abandoned minecart and just seeing where it takes you is that it's a completely optional activity that you don't have to do. And I would recommend that you don't, because as you can see from this diorama, sometimes things don't go to plan. I'm gonna start out by making the rails for the diorama, and I'm making them completely from scratch. I came up with this idea of making a mold and then using my 3D pen to create the tracks, and I wanted to give it a shot, so I'm trying it out on this build. This is a 3D pen. A while ago it seemed like everybody was crazy about these, and then they quickly realized they were sort of a gimmick and they kind of disappeared from the face of the earth. I don't think they're great for what they're advertised for most of the time, but I have been using them in my diorama projects with a lot of success, just trying out random things with them. And today I'm trying to make a rail system for the minecart using this mold I just made. So the first one is a little bit messed up, but there's a lot of potential here. So I'm gonna keep trying and see if I can do this a little bit better after a couple of attempts. This is what I ended up with after a few attempts. Some of these obviously turned out better than some of the other ones. I think in the end it's going to help out a lot that this is an abandoned minecart we're building, so the rails system is definitely going to be in disrepair. If I want these to be brand spanking new, I'm going to have to find a better way to make the mold. Let's move on to making the base for the diorama. All of the bases I've been making lately have been a 1/2 inch thick, and that's been easy to keep standard because I've been using Foamboard to create them. Today I want to try using this insulation foam. I use this in a lot of my builds to create rocks and mountains and all sorts of things, but it's usually a little too thick to be a base. I already own this handheld foam cutter, and I want to turn it into a foam cutting table so that I don't have to build one from scratch or go out and buy one. I think I have an idea for how I can do it. It's not going to be the most precise or long-lasting thing ever, but to be honest, I don't really care because I just wanted something that I could throw up really quickly to do what I want to do for this project and get it done today. So when I started building this thing, I didn't even think I was going to leave any of this in the video. So I just pressed record on my camera and then started puttering around, just doing whatever and putting this together. I didn't even remember how I made this thing at the end, but if you guys are interested in a longer, more detailed video of making something like this, I can do a better, more put together version and then make a longer form video of how to build it. Let me know if you guys are interested in that in the comments. So here's the finished result, and it's not perfect by any means, but it definitely did what I wanted it to do. I was able to cut this down to approximately 1/2 inch. I was kind of wiggly and shaky and didn't know how to use it at first, but later on I got the hang of it, and I used this a lot more to cut more of these foam pieces, and it turned out really good. So now that I have this base cut, I'm just gonna glue it down with some tacky glue to some cardboard. The entire thing, cardboard to the top of the foam, is a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to be gluing more foam on top of that, but I have to lay it out and figure out how I want this to look. I was using a box cutter at first to cut out the individual shapes of the mountain, but then I decided to glue it all together, and then the box cutter just wasn't working anymore. It doesn't really like to go through the hot glue that I used to glue the layers together, and it was a hassle, so I had to break out my saw again. I love this thing. It comes in handy every time I have to cut through large stacks of foam. The one downside is it's a little bit messy and these little foam particles go everywhere. I'm using it to shape these mountains. I'm not 100% sure how I want them to look, so I'm adjusting as I'm going along. No matter how much I carved off, the pieces still seemed way too big and too chunky, so I'm just gonna take the whole thing down about 2 inches and make it a little bit smaller. It's starting to look a lot better. I always overestimate how much foam I'm gonna use for rocks because I think it needs to take up a lot of space, but really I'm just doing a small little cutout picture of the mountain. I don't have to make the whole thing, so it's okay for me to just use a little bit of foam. Lastly, I'm carving out the entrance to the mine shaft, and I'll come back and touch up all of these parts later on. Now I'm gonna build the mine cart. I had made this guide at the beginning to just keep in mind the size that I needed to make it so it wasn't too big or way too small. I drew out the shape of a mine cart. I'm not being precise with this. I just did it by hand and I'm gluing it together. This white material that I'm using is a plastic sheet and I'm gluing it together with some plastic cement. And I scratched some lines in it with my X-Acto knife so that it could look a little bit more like wood later on. This is green stuff. I love this green stuff. This stuff is the stuff. This has become my favorite stuff to use for sculpting these little figures because it does something that polymer clay could never dream of doing, which is sticking to the armature. Right out of the gate, it's sticky enough to just go on the wire and then you can smooth it on and create your basic little person or shape or whatever you're making immediately, and you don't have to try and do all of these shenanigans to get it to stick to the wire. I love this. So I've covered my little armature that I made in the green stuff, and now I'm just gonna sculpt her little figure. This tool that I'm using is silicone, and it is good for working with the green stuff because it doesn't stick to it, so it's good for smoothing and carving out shapes. I've been trying to get better at sculpting each time that I do one of these little figures, and this time I tried to put in a lot more detail on this person. I added in an actual face and did wrinkles on her clothes, and I even tried to sand her down a little bit once she was fully cured so that it would be smoother when I painted it. I'm going in with my Vallejo paints and trying my best here to do a good job. That's another skill that I'm trying to improve, but I think it's gotten a little bit better as the weeks have gone by. She's getting her basic blue jeans and a green long sleeve shirt. This is the same girl who's in all of my dangerous dioramas, who's always up to something. Last time it was an abandoned water park, then a tornado, and now this, an abandoned mine shaft. For what? For why? Why does she keep doing this? Some of you guys thought that this might be me, and I can understand that because inadvertently I made her look exactly like me, but no, this is her own little character. Let's think of a name for her together because I can't come up with anything right now on the spot. While the adventurer is drying, I'm planning out where the mine cart is gonna go and how the rails are gonna fit into this whole thing, and I'm just gonna finish carving up the mountain. I decided that I didn't like both sides being as tall as each other, so I cut one in half because I wanted there to be a little bit of variation. Now I'm carving in some fissures into the rocks, and it's time to make the brace for the entrance to the mine. I'm using a little piece of basswood and then I'm weathering it a tiny bit by scratching it up with my X-Acto knife. Now I'm just gluing it in place using some standard super glue. And I'm also going to put some super glue in a few places where the layers of foam have kind of come apart. I'm taking the tracks that I made earlier and heating them up with a heat gun so that I can curve it a little bit to have it go deep into the mine. And then I'm going to glue that in place with super glue. I'm just going to bend the bottom one a little bit more and then add in the structures for the bridge that used to go across here but is now broken. I'm trying out some different things with the base. For the dioramas, I wanted them to look a little bit more professional and nicer, so I'm covering this one in balsa wood, and later on I'm going to paint it. Right now, I'm covering the entire top of the diorama with a mixture of Mod Podge and acrylic paint. I mixed a little of this with some drywall spackling and added it around the edges so that there wasn't a separation between the foam and the wood of the base. I added a little gravel and some sawdust just for a little bit more texture and blended that in. Now that it's dry, I'm going over it with increasingly lighter shades of gray. This whole mountain is going to be completely stone, and there's not going to be any trees or vegetation or anything on this, because we've been doing so many trees and so much forest area in the past few videos. I went back in to darken up the areas like the inside of the mine that should be in shadow and painted the base with some black acrylic paint. I painted this minecart to look like it's wood even though it was plastic. And now I'm gluing it into the model. The last thing to add was the flying adventurer who flew forward out of this thing when she came to a break in the bridge. She decided to just make a dive for it and try to land on the other side. I don't know, I think she's gonna make it. It looks like she's got a good shot to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, especially subscribe. YouTube will show you more diorama stuff and it helps us grow the channel. And also, I want to say a huge, very important thank you and shout out to my patrons. Specifically, Inez E, K and Z, Grouchy Old Man, Fatal Gift, Pat M, Suki T, Lizzie B, Ryan R, Cheryl R, Julia S T, Fred C, Isaac W, Lori R, Gabriel K, and Awkward Burp.